What is up, guys? It's Harrison for, I think this is episode 5. I think it's the 5th podcast, and I'm here with my main man from America.
Hello.
Yeah, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Doing fine. American football, at least. Playoffs just started.
Oh,
Watched a little bit of that.
see, anything to do with American football goes over my head. I don't understand it at all.
I didn't either for a while, but
Yeah.
we got there.
Are you more into American football than other sports, or?
I mainly watch basketball. That's
Yeah.
kind of my thing, but I've heard it's growing in Europe, and a little bit at least because there's this guy Luka Doncic. He played on like Real Madrid from when he was like 14 to like 18, and now he's one of the best players in the NBA already.
Jesus.
So that's like growing popularity because kids see him, what he did pro, instead of going to college because you don't get paid to play there. So people might start moving over to Europe to play before they come.
Well, that probably won't be happening with the current conditions, but oh well. Well, we're going to get straight into this. It's mainly going to be Star Wars because, as you can probably tell by his backdrop, he hates Star Wars essentially.
Yeah,
but
it's the worst series ever.
I know really, that. How would you say? Sorry?
Are you really a Star Wars fan? If you like Star Wars, I feel like you have to hate Star Wars to be a Star Wars fan.
You have to hate the sequels to be a true Star Wars fan, essentially.
Hey. I like the sequels.
So do I.
Except for Rise of Skywalker is the only sequel that pissed me off.
Yeah, but I mean, you've set up the first point brilliantly. Just gatekeepers in general. Like, what are your honest opinions on gatekeepers? You can use all the explicit language you want.
I do it ironically. I'll be like if someone's like joking around, I'll be like, "Oh, are you a real Star Wars fan if you don't know like blah blah blah." It's just kind of stupid. Like, why don't you want more fans?
Yeah. No,
like your group, because then it's just more people to talk to, and it's just toxic.
Yeah, I think part of it might be an ego thing. Yeah. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I found Star Wars before you, therefore you can't be a fan.
Yeah, I do that with my cousins, but like I'm actually serious with them.
Yeah. Like, because obviously there was that one TikTok that kind of blew up about being like, if you don't know this character, and I called him a cunt. Because he is. I hate.
That guy's just like really annoying in general.
Yeah. To be fair, I went and watched a few of his videos, and I was just like, you're pissing me off. I just can't be arsed. Like, because I, if I'm being honest, I do think me and you probably get it a bit easier. One, because we're smaller creators, and two, because we are male.
Yeah,
and like,
definitely.
Because I was in I don't know, Sawyer. It's just a female creator. She's quite big, to be fair. As like a few thousand more followers than me. And I was like, she's coming on this podcast. She'll either be next week's when this come out, or she would already be out by the time this one comes out. But I was in one of her lives, and people would just join her stream and say, "You're not a fan. You're not a fan." I was like, what? Like, how can you just not be a fan? Because like, it's so obvious. A lot of them say it because like they're females. Essentially, that's how I feel, at least, because I don't encounter it that much unless I bait them in, like with a few of my videos recently, like you've probably seen about like all the Ray stuff. But no, like, I don't know. But would you say it's gender based bias?
To a point, I feel like, but I feel like most people nowadays are just doing it to get attention.
Yeah.
Like, attacking someone's just an easy way to get attention.
Yeah.
I've realized, and that's really what it is. And
yeah, no, I think especially with TikTok, a lot of it is to get attention. I do agree with that.
It definitely is, because what's weird about TikTok is that you can have one video blow up, get a ton of followers, and then you like just keep making that content, and that can happen over the span of like one video.
Yeah.
It's not like you slowly gain. It's like you'll slowly gain, and you'll have that one video that hits like gold, and you'll just get a ton of followers.
Because that's similar to kind of what happened to me. Like I was slowly gaining when I first started, and I had one video that hit over 1 million views, which genuinely I woke up and it was over 1 million. I blew my mind, and I gained quite a few followers. You'd expect to after 1 million views.
Yeah.
And like they're going up, and I'm just gradual, and then another one blows up, and I get a spike, and now like I'm just plodding along. And I do think TikTok have changed the algorithm, if I'm honest. Like,
yeah, they definitely have.
My videos haven't been hitting like the viewers it had been in the past.
Only my memes do well. So
for
those of you that, what I do, I'll post a video with me in it, like my personality or whatever, and then I'll go find a meme from Reddit, steal that, and post it on my thing. One of them got like 55,000 views.
I saw that, yeah.
I was just like, how? Like, it's a stolen meme off Reddit. And then my other memes get like 2,000-3,000 views each.
Yeah, the weirdest things will blow up. Like the weirdest things. And there's some videos where I'm watching it and I'm like, how does this person... I'm not saying I deserve the amount of followers. I'm just thinking... How do you have like followers? You're not doing anything. Like, there's a lot of people who get the followers that don't have a talent.
I follow this one dude. What he does, he like wets his face, makes his eyes super bloodshot or whatever, and like gets super close to the camera. It's like, man urinates on a man in Subway for not allowing him to smoke. But like, I just find that funny because it's like absurd. So I like follow him.
But like that's like comedy though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like there's some people who literally don't even have comedy or anything, and people follow them because they're good looking.
Yeah,
and
that's very true.
Like I think that's why my account did kind of well at the start, because I wasn't showing my face. Because I do think if you're what society deems as good looking, like Zac Efron-esque, like player, just watch football, person, you are bound to get more followers. Personally, that's what I believe.
There actually was that thing that came out a while ago, like the algorithm pushes better looking people.
Oh, really?
So whatever, like the algorithm detects or whatever, something like that.
So if one person sees a bunch of minors on their screen, like a TikTok, they're like pedophiles, like
yeah,
just outed TikTok as pedophiles, like.
Yep.
But it wouldn't explain why Trump wanted it banned then. But we'll get past that. Get a bit more on topic with the Star Wars. There's one thing that I wanted to like. It was going to put you on the spot, but we won't do that right now. It's a little bit harsh.
Oh gosh.
So it might be a little bit delayed by the time it's come out, but I want to ask you, what show from the Investor Day are you most excited for?
Ooh, right now, that's like coming out within the next 2 years is Bad Batch by far. I just like seeing that animation style again.
Yeah.
Even though we saw it in season 7, it's like throwback. Nostalgia is the word. And like just growing up watching that, and then but like overall the show is definitely Alkalite.
Yeah.
The one that's at the end of the High Republic with the Sith or whatever. I think that one will be really, really cool.
Yeah. So Ahsoka, Kenobi not even in the conversation then, or?
Yes and no, because we already kind of know what Obi-Wan did in between like the Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope in like one of the Star Wars comics.
Yeah.
I forget what run it was, but like it shows the reason why Obi-Wan doesn't hang around Luke, and then like also him like encouraging Luke to go out and like build ships and like fix up stuff.
Yeah. I had a question similar to this. I don't know if you've seen the videos on TikTok of like people going onto IMDb and looking at the cast for Kenobi, and there's that blonde. I can't remember her name for the life of me. The blonde woman.
Yeah.
And everyone's thinking she's going to be Satine. Like, do you think Satine will appear at all?
I want to, just because, like, I feel like the show will be just like, it'll be a very slow paced show. Like, there's not going to be like any fast paced stuff. There'll be like minimal action or whatever. Maybe like the occasional Tusken Raider attack. But it'll be more of him trying to like cope with everything that he saw and happened during like the Clone Wars and what happened on Mustafar.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, no. Yeah, I see that. Continue. I bumped you off there. Sorry.
Because I don't really see much happening with like Vader in it or like all that stuff, because it like doesn't really make sense in canon. And so that's just my thoughts.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It does make sense. I do think a lot of it will be a bit more slow. Like it will be like a slower paced show, but I do like there will obviously be those aspects where I think there is good action scenes, because I don't think they're going to waste Kenobi. I think if Satine appears, it would be as a hologram. I don't think they'll do any flashback scenes or anything.
Yeah, definitely not.
I have one question for you, actually. It just comes to mind. Would you want to see his Clone Wars like outfit, like in the show at all?
I think that'd be so sick.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the show, he's just like thinking about everything like one last time, and he like opens up like a box or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just his outfits. That'd be so sick.
Yeah. There's just one covered in like ash and stuff, and it would be kind of cool. Like I do think the Kenobi series is one where you can literally. It's similar to Cobra Kai in the sense you could literally farm so much nostalgia out of one show.
Yeah.
And like
definitely.
Now you have 7 seasons of Clone Wars, you have the prequels. There's so many nostalgic pieces you can scrounge. Like, but then again, who knows what's going to happen? Can't predict it. It's always difficult, but I mean, talking about predictions, you did kind of predict a part of Mandalorian season 2, didn't you?
Did.
You did. Do you want to elaborate?
Crap. I said I somewhat called the Moff Gideon thing. How Mando and Bo-Katan were gonna like go, and then Bo-Katan would arrive, but Mando would already have Moff Gideon in custody and have the Darksaber, and then there's like a conflict of interest there. I called that one.
Yeah.
And then earlier this year, I said that Luke should train Grogu instead of Ahsoka, and I was kind of right on that. I didn't predict his like appearance, but he is the one that's training him, so that's like a half win.
Yeah, because I was watching that and I was like, I remember watching it and I was like, all right, I'm gonna hold this video to either say, haha, you're wrong, or be like, you're right. Because if I'm honest, I think I'd done a video on it. I didn't think any Jedi was going to appear, if I'm honest. Because
I didn't either.
I couldn't see it happening, because one, I was certain we would have heard some rumor about it, and and like Grogu or Baby Yoda, as we kind of knew him as throughout like before the season and everything, like he was the focal point, and I do think a lot of people watched the show because of Grogu.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like.
Well,
what were you saying? Sorry.
My thing was that like it has to be Luke. If it's not going to be Luke, it's going to be Ahsoka, and if it's not going to be Ahsoka, it's not going to be anyone, because number one, Order 66 was 99% effective.
Yeah.
Supposedly 10,000 active Jedi during the Clone Wars, and at the end of that, that's like 100. We know of maybe like 30. Right now that actually survived the like initial Order 66, and then you have the purge that goes on for a few years after.
Yeah.
And so there's very minimal that actually survived and would survive another like 15 or 20 years after Order 66 or whatever, the end of the purge.
Yeah. I was gonna say something like, I saw a lot of people theorizing Cal Kestis, and
Oh,
to me that was just ridiculous because we've only got one game, and we know Fallen Order 2's in the works, or at least another Jedi game, like Star Wars game, is in the works. But I just don't. I wouldn't have seen any like logic behind that, really, in my opinion, at least.
yeah, me too. Because it's kind of like his training like stopped at a Padawan,
Yeah.
and then it like completed, I guess. But when like Seer like knights him or whatever, but even at that, his training's still like somewhat incomplete.
Yeah, I think had we had like Fallen Order 2 or whatever it will be called, then the possibility might have been a bit higher. But again, like if I'm being truly honest, I did think Ezra was the most likely, based purely on the Thrawn name drop. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, that Thrawn name drop was like, what the hell? When that
And
happened, I was not sinking.
yeah, and I was thinking like, after I started thinking about it, I was thinking like, wait, then that means there's going to be so much explanation on how we survived and everything, to the point where I think it would just slow everything down ridiculous amounts. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Because yeah, Rebels is okay.
yeah, I know you don't really like Rebels.
Yeah, it gets way too. It's overhyped a lot.
May I quote you? It has an identity crisis.
Yes, it does.
Like, I personally enjoy Rebels. I think it's a very up and down show. It's not consistent across the board.
Yeah, it's very inconsistent.
Because I think it was season 3, or I think it was the start of season 3. I'm not even joking. It took me about 2-3 months to get through because it was so boring. I was bored out of my mind, and by the end, like the last season, brilliant in my opinion. Loved it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's a lot of watchable episodes in the 4th season.
Yeah.
The Mandalore ones are kind of weird though. It's like it's like a detour kind of. But the thing I hate the most about Rebels is the beginning of season 3, because he has the Sith holocron, and they don't do anything with it. They just throw it. They just throw it out in like an episode, and then it's just done.
Yeah. Like we said, it's a very like up and down show. It's very inconsistent. I think had a bit more time be spent on like working on it and the story and everything, it could have actually been. It might have eventually have been better than Clone Wars, if I'm honest, because I think they had a lot more potential.
The one thing I love about Rebels, though, is the animation. Like, that gets so much hate, but like I like the thin lightsabers and like the painted kind of design that it has.
Yeah.
Except for hologram Anakin, that should be burned.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, like I did. What am I gonna say? I did like a lot of the things in it. Like the characters, I didn't like at the start completely.
Oh yeah, the characters sucked at the beginning.
Like my favorite. Who's your favorite character from Rebels?
Ooh, that's hard. Probably like main Ghost Crew or just like characters.
Yeah. Let's go main.
Okay then. I don't really know. Probably Zeb, honestly.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Really? I'm not gonna lie. I was on the fence with his character until like the last season, if I'm honest. Like, I couldn't get into his character. Like,
yeah, I just like his arc, how he goes from like just being angry and that's why he's doing it, to like doing it because he sees the good that they're doing. Because I think that really changes in the episode where he's on the moon of Geonosis with Callus. That's when he like had like the switch flipped. And
I did like that. That I did really like that. That was one of my favorite bits as well. If I'm honest, one of my favorite characters was Hera. She just grew on me. Like she was just an all round, she was just really nice character. I can't describe how much I actually like her. Like, am I a Hera simp? Yeah, sure. But then again, I know a few people I talk to. Alana, for example, is a huge Thrawn simp. And as we're on the subject of Rebels, some news that have come out recently that you've probably seen. I know you've done a kind of a jokey video on it on the fan cast for Thrawn, but RDJ as Thrawn, your opinions on that?
I don't know about just like because I've never seen RDJ in a like as a character that can be like serious all the time. Like Tropic Thunder, he plays some asshole actor that does.
I'm the dude disguised as a dude playing another dude.
Yeah, and then he's Iron Man, who like can be, but like he always has like a one-liner to like throw out.
Especially with the way they've done it in the MCU, he's very sassy and sarcastic.
Yeah.
To the point where, like you said, I can't see him playing that genius, serious, manipulative villain. It just doesn't work in my opinion. I don't think it's good enough.
Also, my thing with Thrawn, he never gets. Anytime he's about to do something like horribly evil, like take out all the rebels or whatever, something happens to him.
Yeah.
And that's what's annoying about Rebels is they never have a moment where they're like down bad. They're like down bad, but they're like next episode it's over.
Nothing lasts a long time.
Yeah, like the only really thing that lasted a long time was like the last like 4 episodes when Kanan dies. That was the only like thing where they were like down for multiple episodes.
Yeah, although that episode did actually hit me when he died, if I'm honest.
Oh, Jedi Knight's one of the 10 watchable episodes of Rebels.
10 watchable episodes out of 4 seasons. Wow, you're being a bit harsh there. But because obviously you said you don't really like Rebels, would you like? How am I going to word this? I don't know how I'm going to word this. It's gone over my head, so we'll move on. Clone Wars. Solid, like honest opinions on it as a whole.
Oh, it's a little overhyped.
Okay, yeah, I feel like
it's good, but people give it too much credit. Like people overhype the first and second seasons, and those seasons were just awful.
Yeah.
But one thing they do have is like season 1 and 2 are like Clone Wars, like where it's not too serious, but it's not too like kiddish, so that it's like peak clone, like where it should be most of the time. But compared to like later seasons, it's like nothing.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you, because I think, like you said, overhyped, overrated. A lot of people, I think, misconstrue what that means. I think a lot of people will take what you've said saying it's overhyped, like what I'd say, I do agree it is slightly overhyped, overrated, to mean that we think it's bad. Overrated and overhyped doesn't mean bad. We just think it's good, but it gets a little bit too much praise for what it is. Which I do agree. Like, I was talking to my friend and I was thinking, like, Ahsoka is almost unwatchable in the first season.
She's awful.
Yeah. Like, I think Ahsoka is one of those characters where they rescued that character ridiculously well, to the point where she is a fan favorite now.
Yeah, 100%. Like, people just like cast aside season 1 and 2 Ahsoka when they're talking about her. Like, she was so annoying. I could not stand her.
I do, yeah. Like, because I've been like, in my head, I've been batting to and from like rewatching Clone Wars, and I'm like, there's so much I don't know if I can be asked to watch that much. And I'm thinking, like, if I do watch it, I don't really want to watch season 1 and 2 because of Ahsoka, if I'm honest, because she is so annoying, and it's it's weird because I love the character now. Like after season 2, she's a lot more bearable. But that first chunk, like, could have killed the character in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I was hoping she wouldn't come back.
Oh really?
Yeah, because I was just a kid and I wanted to see it for like the battles and stuff, and then like she was just annoying me, so I was like, "Can you like leave her somewhere?"
What did you think of the Clone Wars movie?
It's story-wise, it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
But as a Clone Wars, that's like peak Clone Wars, like fun, lighthearted, somewhat high stakes, but not like too high to make it like unbelievable that happened.
With no references,
yeah, I really enjoy that movie.
Yeah,
and we get to see a baby Hutt. Before
that's
there was
true.
Baby Yoda, there was Baby Jabba.
We should actually make that a thing. We should make that a thing on TikTok. I'm down. Forget Baby Yoda, Grogu. We're here for Baby Hutt.
Yeah, the
Let's
Hutt's name
go.
was like what? Rada the Hutt.
Something not stupid, wasn't it? But because I remember, I went to go see it in the cinema, or do you call it? What do you
movie
theaters?
theaters?
Movie theater. That's what you call it. Because a theater here is what you like, where you see like Broadway shows, like a play. Like you go to a theater. But at the cinema, or the movies, depending where you're from here, like I went to go see it with my dad, and I remember the sound in the cinema we were in wasn't working, so we were sat in the cinema for like 20 minutes while they were trying to get the sound ready, and it got to the point where I can't remember what actually happened. I don't think they actually had like the big speakers on. You know, they had like the secondary speakers kind of. We had to watch the film with those instead of the big speakers, which, I mean, I was young. Like, when did that movie come out now?
I think 2008, like August.
Was it 2008?
Yeah.
Mad. I thought it was. So, I was 2008. I was in like year 3. So,
yeah, I was
how
like
old?
7.
Yeah.
That's like, I think second grade.
Honestly, yeah, the grades
like
and stuff.
Kindergarten, first grade, second grade.
Yeah, no, that would just confuse me. I've tried to talk about like your grades and like your how your schools work. It doesn't go well for my brain. But yeah, like I was young, so I'm surprised I know it. I remember that, but because I remember going to the cinema being really excited and being really disappointed when they would like come in and saying, oh, we might not be able to watch it because of the speakers. But obviously, finally got to watch it. Back then, when you're young, you don't care if a movie's actually bad. You're watching a movie. If it's got lightsabers in it, you're happy for the rest of your years as a kid. Like, imagine if that film, exactly how it is, came out now.
Oh god.
Can you imagine how
everyone would roast it so
hard? People roast the sequels. How would people treat the Clone Wars movie? Like,
yeah, like just look how the prequels were treated back then. Like, it'd be what the prequels got is still way worse than what the sequels got.
yeah.
Like, we put actors out of jobs.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And like all of these Star Wars actors have like been in previous movies or like little movies where they show what they can do, so they'll still be able to get another job. Most of these people in the prequels are like it was like their first movies.
Yeah.
And so like you get roasted for that and you're screwed. The only successful one is Natalie Portman.
You could argue Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, he's pretty good.
And well, I mean, you could obviously Samuel Jackson, but it wasn't his first movie.
Yeah,
he was already established, really, wasn't he? So, but do you think the sequels will ever get to a point where the prequels are in being like respected and loved?
Yeah, definitely. Because like The reason the prequels are getting so much praise now is because all the kids that went to go see it in the theaters are growing up to where they have like a voice on the internet.
Yeah.
But the sequel, I will always love the sequels, except Rise of Skywalker, because they're like the first ever Star Wars movies I like saw in the theater. Besides, that was like live action.
Yeah.
And like Star Wars was returning for the first time in like 10 years, and just
Yeah.
like the theater experience is unbeatable for any of the sequels. Like it was crazy seeing them all opening night.
Because do you know what's mad with Force Awakens? You see on the first day. Oh my god, I was so excited.
It was so crazy.
In it, the buzz in school, I was so happy. Like I was so giddy, I could not stand still. I was just, you know, when you're excited for something in school, and you keep on looking at the time, and the time just goes so fucking slow, and I'm just sat there like, hurry up! I want to go home. I want to go home. Went to go watch it with my family, and I'm not joking. I arranged to go see it with my friends after, and so I'm in screen 2 of my local cinema, sat down, the nice screen in the cinema, like, because it was new as well, so seats were brand new, so comfy. Sat and watch it, like mind blown. I walk out, meet my friends, go into the same screen, rewatch it.
Yeah, like, that whole day, me and my friends were just speculating what was gonna happen, and I remember like all of us agreeing that like they might kill Han Solo. And then the Monday after, or we saw it Thursday night, so Friday, we were just like, we couldn't even say anything about it because we were so like, it actually happened.
Because my top 2 characters in Star Wars is Obi-Wan Kenobi and Chewbacca. It's a really weird duo, but I don't know is it weird that I love Chewie so much?
I mean, not really, because he's like, he never says human words.
Yeah.
But you can tell by his sounds what he's thinking, and by his mannerisms feel very human, so you're able to like relate with him a lot.
I love Chewie, and like what hurt me, like, I don't get me wrong, because Harrison Ford is one of my favorite actors. I'm named after him. Like, he's one of my favorite actors. I love Han Solo as a character. He's in my top 5. No, top 10. And seeing him die, especially by the hands of his own son, like, that breaks you. But what made it worse for me wasn't Rey's reaction; it was Chewie's.
Yeah.
Because he just went on a rampage, and I remember
sicko mode.
I remember sat in the cinema, and I was just, Chewie's reaction made me more upset. Like,
yeah,
if that makes sense. Like,
I sat in my chair, and like everyone in the theater like audibly gasped.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Like, so what were your initial, if you remember, what were your initial thoughts when you walked out of that cinema?
Oh gosh, it was like I couldn't get the smile off my face.
Yeah,
because what I had seen was like a lot of new stuff, and then also like a lot of old stuff. Like you get the like fast-paced X-wing versus TIE fighter stuff, and then you get like all this new like world building, and there's like the huge Starkiller base, and Snoke just seemed really cool. And like I was speechless.
I think that's the best word to use. I think that's the best word to use is I was speechless. Because like, you were just shocked. It's like, I've finally got to see a Star Wars in like massive scale Star Wars in the cinema.
Yeah.
Like, I know like my parents, possibly your parents, watched the originals in the cinema. I know my parents have. And like they hold that, and I'm jealous of that. Because I was going to go rewatch Empire Strikes Back in the cinema for, I think, the 40th anniversary, was it?
I was supposed to, yeah.
But then COVID, but COVID fucked it up, pricks.
Yeah,
But I was so excited, and I was like, even like Ghostbusters, all of those old films, which me personally, I cherish. And I'm so jealous of my parents or envious, I should say, of my parents being able to watch that in the cinema when they were released. And it, because me personally, I love old stuff. Like Stanley, for example, I love old stuff.
Yeah.
But like here, like this might sound really, really weird, but I like the graininess of old movies. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you mean. Cause like, me too. I like the grainy feel of it, just because it feels like movie-esque.
Yeah.
Like when you think movies, you think of like this grainy stuff, but like movies in the theaters, they still have a little bit of that grain, but it's not as prominent as it is in like older shows.
Yeah.
And like movies and stuff.
Like Rocky, for example. That like I can't. It's a turn on. Like, does that make sense though? Every time I try and talk about it to someone, I feel like it doesn't make sense. Like, I bought all the Rocky films on DVD, and I had the opportunity to buy them on Blu-ray or just normal DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
I chose not to buy them on Blu-ray because I wanted that old feel of Rocky. Because my music taste, look, I'll run you through my my main Spotify playlist quickly. Main songs: Queen, Freddie Mercury, Queen, David Bowie, Queen.
Wait, hold up. You said David Bowie? We say David Bowie.
Bowie. It's David Bowie. It's David Bowie, all right? Duran Duran, A Flock of Seagulls, David Bowie. Prince, Michael Jackson. I used to idolize him. Now I idolize him in a different way. That's a joke, people. That's a joke. Don't take that out of context. Rick Astley, George Michael, Andy Williams, The Police, Tears for Fears, Cutting Crew, The Beatles, Elton John. Like, you can tell by my playlist, I love old stuff. Like, I live in the olden days. Anything old, I love. Like, old grainy films like Pulp Fiction, Rocky. Like no, I don't feel like it doesn't make sense what I'm saying. Like, and you're saying you understand, which I'm sure you do, but it just makes the movies better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it definitely, like, seeing how older movies inspired newer movies, and like how like these directors are inspired, like, love those old movies, and they want to like use the same things but put their own twist on it, kind of like how George Lucas liked Ben-Hur, and so for the chariot, he wanted like a chariot racing scene, so he put in the pod racing. And then he liked like the crawl it had, so he put the opening crawl in Star Wars, which actually got him kicked out of the Directors Guild.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because back then they put all of the like credits at the beginning, but he didn't want to do that.
I remember reading something about this. Yeah. That's a really good way you've put it. Like
movies today wouldn't be where they were without what was yesterday. Like, same with music and stuff. My music tastes are that old stuff, but I also do like newer hip hop.
Yeah.
Famous British person you might know, 21 Savage.
Oh, is he the one that got deported from America? Yeah. That's the only way I know him, because I don't know modern artists. Like, obviously, I know Post Malone and stuff. Eminem is one of my favorite artists of all time.
Yeah, he's good.
And like, so here's a funny story. It was on about old music. So I was listening to Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head on my Alexa. Turn off. And I was listening to it, and my stepdad was in bed sleeping because he wasn't feeling too good. And he said to me, I thought I died and I was living back with my parents, because they used to listen to that song. Because I just love old music. Like I said, like this might sound really weird. I really hope you understand what I'm saying. The graininess of old films and being able to watch old films the way they are, and like being grainy, not HD, like it's a turn on. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
You might. I know you probably don't feel the same, but
yeah, definitely not.
this is going to be a clip on the old TikTok. But yeah, like I have like the Blu-ray versions of all the Star Wars like that. You know, that iconic Blu-ray box with like Tatooine. I have that, but I just love the graininess of the original. I just love it. Like,
There's also something about watching the originals in 4K. Like on Disney Plus, like we got a 4K TV, and like the first thing I watched on it was Star Wars, and seeing it like that clear was mind blowing. It was so good.
Like, don't get me wrong. Pardon me. Don't get me wrong. I love like HD 4K movies. I love them. They look beautiful. Like, there's certain scenes in films which look beautiful in 4K. And like, I love both. Like, the graininess turns me on. The 4K keeps me going. But yeah, no, I do agree. Like, watching, like you said, watching the originals, like remastered, it adds that extra bit as well. Like, adds something different, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But right, okay. So at the start, remember when I mentioned I was going to put you on the spot?
Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot now. So rank each Star Wars trilogy. Like, rank the Star Wars trilogies.
Okay. Original trilogy's on top, unbeatable. You can't beat the originals. And then I'm gonna put the sequels, and then the prequels. People tend to forget that the prequels are still bad movies.
Right.
Like, thematically, they are horrible.
Okay. Right. I think I would agree with you if you take everything to do with Clone Wars out.
Yeah.
Because Clone Wars makes the prequels brilliantly. Like, it makes them brilliant. Like, I don't know if you agree. I personally think had Clone Wars not existed, prequels would still be hated.
Yeah, they definitely still would be.
Like,
Cause
what are you saying, sorry?
People associate, like, obviously you should, but people associate Clone Wars Anakin with movie Anakin when they're like somewhat different characters, because you can still see like the change over time, but it's like,
Yeah, it's done a lot better.
yeah, like and like one thing, like, people are like, oh, the sequels shouldn't need the comics to make the sequels better. The prequels shouldn't need Clone Wars to be better.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, if I'm being completely honest, you're gonna probably hate me for this, but Attack of the Clones is a guilty pleasure movie for me. I don't know why I love that film. Like, I can hold. That's the thing. I can hold my hands up and admit that it's not a good movie by any means, and I'm not claiming it is, but it's just a guilty pleasure. I just love the movie.
Yeah, I like Attack of the Clones for the Jango Fett scenes on Camino, and then the last like half hour of it
Yeah.
on Geonosis, and that's like about it. And then maybe when Anakin kills the Tusken Raiders.
Oh, not just the men, but the women and the children too. Like, that movie, like, the prequels are just memed to shit now.
Like, I watched 1 and 2 so I can like quote along with them. Like, it's gotten to a point where they're throwing memes into Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like when Mando meets Boba Fett for the first time, he's just like, I'm a simple man trying to find my way through the galaxy. And his dad says, I'm just a simple man trying to find my way through the universe.
Yeah. Like, I do get what you're saying. Yeah. Like, I don't know why. I just love Attack of the Clones. Like, let me get my Star Wars ranking. Because I think when I uploaded this, you commented saying like you were a little bit off. I think you didn't like a couple of my rankings, so I can run you through them if you want. So 11, we have Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
And then
I put Rise of Skywalker
yeah,
there.
but then 10 is Rise of Skywalker. Because let me just say, for this ranking, I was going strictly on the movies. I was taking all of the Clone Wars stuff out, and the Rebel stuff and everything. Haven't watched Resistance, so I cannot have an opinion on that. So 10, Rise of Skywalker, and then 9, I put Solo.
Yeah.
Which I do actually like. I do like that film.
The thing that's hard about ranking Star Wars movies is that I like all of them, and so it's just like you have something at like the bottom, but you still like it.
Yeah,
But,
no,
like,
that's the thing.
take
Yeah,
it as you not liking it.
Yeah, because like Phantom Menace is at the bottom. I still really like that film. Like I love all the Star Wars films. I love them. So it was so difficult for me to rank, but you've got to in the end. Like you've got to. So 8 was Force Awakens. I feel like that kind of hurt you a bit.
I love The Force Awakens.
But that's what we've just said. I love it.
Biased because that was the first Star Wars movie I saw in theaters, so it's always gonna have like the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
Like all these movies are, just because like it, like I watched all of them through high school. Like that's when they were coming out. So
yeah, like don't get me wrong. It's like what we just said. Like it's 8. It's quite low in the rankings, but I still love the film. Like it's not like I don't like it. It's not like I don't love it. I had to place it somewhere, and I put it here. So 7 is Rogue One because I like it, but was it needed?
Not really. But seeing Rogue One, because whenever someone asks me like, "Oh, how was the movie?" I just say everyone dies at the end. And so like I'm like, what am I supposed to say to people after this?
I think when I was talking to my friend about my rankings, because we watched all of them over FaceTime through like COVID lockdown and everything. We were on FaceTime call. We started at the same time. Only way we could watch movies together. And I said the only reason I've put Rogue One above Force Awakens is purely because of the Darth Vader scene. Because that scene is one of the greatest scenes in Star Wars.
Yeah, definitely. Like sitting in the theater and then thinking the movie was over, and then that happens.
Yeah.
Everyone was just silent. Like walking out of the theater, everyone's like, "What did I just watch?"
Yeah. So 6. What do you think my number 6 is? Do you remember from the video?
Attack of the Clones.
It's Last Jedi.
Oof. I love The Last Jedi is my favorite Star Wars movie. I love that movie. Yeah. It's just something about like the craziness and not even knowing where it was gonna take me just like elevates it above.
Yeah.
Like I did not see him killing Snoke.
Yeah.
I didn't see Luke coming out of nowhere. And just like the last 45 minutes where Kylo Ren is just on his tear of being evil, like so crazy, he's not even like comprehending anything. He's just like acting on emotion. That is just like, oh, it gets me going. It's so
good. Yeah, I do agree. Like, if I'm honest, when I walked out of the cinema for the first time in like the first like year or so of it being out, I hated the movie. Hated it. I didn't like it. I didn't like what they'd done with Luke. Luke, if I'm honest, I hated Rose, not the actress. I hated the character. But I've rewatched it recently a couple of times, and I find myself really enjoying it. Like, I've gotten to the point where I think because I'm older, I've got a bit more mature. I understand what happened with Luke.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Also, people are like, Luke would never do that, but like to like Kylo when he's in the bed or whatever. But when you sit and like when everyone's talking like about it, it's like you either picked to listen to like Luke's skewed version of it, or picked to listen to Ben or to Kylo Ren's side of it.
Yeah.
And like the thing, it was like all Snoke. Like Snoke planted everything into like everything.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I just don't think people will ever accept what happened to Luke because they saw him as the light, as the new
Yeah.
hope, and everything, to the point where it was kind of like it has this character just being tossed in the bin, which I can still see why people think that, but at the same time, like I'm like, well, come on, man, like
And
you got to understand.
he practically did the same thing to Darth Vader too,
Mm,
where he's like wailing away on him through his like emotions or whatever, and then he like stops himself from like
mm,
killing him, and just stops. And that's what he did to
yeah,
Ben. He just like he was about to do it, and then he realized
yeah,
his mistake, so he was gonna stop, but Kylo was too far.
yeah. I do like. There are so many similarities with what Luke done with other characters within Star Wars, but people are just so blind because of the hate, like the bandwagon of hate towards the sequels, to the point where they just don't want to listen to reason and like everything. Like I said, it has become my favorite of the sequels, which is strange because I really dislike the movie. But I think, like I said, because I got more mature recently, I like it more now, and I've come to realize and appreciate what they've done.
Another scene that threw me off in that movie was the Holdo maneuver. I did not see that
Yes,
happening
that's a
at all.
beautiful
Like
scene.
she starts turning it around, and like you can see all like the light transitioning from the side of the ship and stuff, and then she
Mm,
just like, and it's dead silent.
that's a
Oh, that's
beautiful
so
scene.
good.
Such a beautiful scene. Like I used to say that was the only good scene in a shit movie, but now it's like it's an amazing scene in a great movie. Like,
One thing I will say I hate about that movie though is the
mm,
beginning dialogue between Hux and Poe.
yeah,
That just felt way too like movies are trying to Star Wars especially is trying to like turn its humor into like Marvel humor.
mm,
It's not just like spur of the moment kind of like
yeah.
haha. It's
I
it
yeah
was
no,
forced a little.
I agree. But again, on my list, it only got sixth. Couldn't beat the top five. So fifth, something you're going to really, really disagree with is
It's
Attack of the
Attack of the
Clones.
Clones.
Like I said, I just love the movie. Like I get more enjoyment and more love out of watching that movie than I do The Last Jedi. Again, I just want to specify I love all these movies, but I have to rank them somewhere. And Attack of the Clones gets fifth for me, which I know you
if
don't agree with.
if we didn't have the cringe, if we had better dialogue between Anakin and Padme, it'd be significantly better.
Yeah. Would you say it's because I know a lot of people blame Hayden Christensen in that film for acting bad. In my opinion, again, opinion warning, I think the way he played Anakin in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith was perfect.
Yeah, I'd say that because he's like a dorky, like 20-year-old
Mm.
who's probably never touched a female before he met Padme. And even that, it had been 10 years since he
Yeah,
saw her last.
yeah, yeah, I think he played it perfectly. Like, yeah, the dialogue doesn't help him, but he
The
done
dialogue
brilliantly
is
for what
so
he
bad.
was. He done well with what he was given, which is all you can
Yeah.
do as an actor. Um, but yeah, it's coming. It's hit the top five in my list, and I know if we were face to face, I probably would have got a right hook in the chin. But and I know gatekeepers will hate that. Um, but four is A New Hope.
Solid choice. A New Hope's good. I
Mm,
I enjoy it a lot, but there's definitely other ones that beat it.
yeah, I said to my friend Joe, who's been on the podcast twice, I was like, A New Hope is when you're ranking Star Wars, you love all the films. I've repeated myself like four times. You love all the films, but you have to rank them. But A New Hope is one of those films where even if you don't like it that much, it's not a film that can go below fifth.
Yeah. And what's
It,
crazy about that is like that is like a good movie on its own because George Lucas wasn't expecting to make a second or third one at all. So that's why Vader kind of just like spins off to nowhere without a death, and that's why Tarkin's dead at the end of that movie.
Like the way I said it to Joe was it can't go below 5th, but it can't be in the top 3 in my opinion. Like it can't be top. Like it has to be in the top 5 somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
But number 3, which I feel like a lot of gatekeepers will really hate me for, and I don't give a shit. Come at me, gatekeepers, you pricks. As you can tell, I don't like gatekeepers. Called one a cunt. But number 3 is Empire Strikes Back.
So your number 1 and number 2 is gonna be Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi.
Yep. What are your opinions on me putting Empire 3rd?
Again, I think it's like people are like, oh, you're just picking Empire because it's like it's what everyone else says. But Empire, even like outside of the Star Wars name and community, is one of, if not the greatest sequel of any movie ever.
Spider-Man 2.
Like, it is incredibly hard to have a sequel to a movie that is better than the original.
Spider-Man 2. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 2, not the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I do agree with you. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant movie. That's why it's in the top 3. It's a brilliant movie. But something I maybe should have specified is I'm judging these purely on my enjoyment and how they are as a Star Wars movie. I'm not looking at them on a masterpiece movie scale. I'm not talking about how good they are as a movie. As like a cinema movie. I'm just enjoyment and Star Wars. And I really want Empire to be like top or top 2. And I was watching it and I was like, I'm really enjoying this movie. But I'm still sat here like, I don't get all of the hype around it, if I'm honest. Like,
my favorite thing in Empire Strikes Back, even though it's like pretty slow paced, is the Falcon going around the asteroid belt. I just love the ships in Star Wars and just like seeing him like fly the Falcon through that and like just seeing it kind of like drift and stuff. It's just crazy. I love seeing that.
Yeah. No, I do. Don't get me wrong, I love the film. I just didn't get as much enjoyment as I think I'd expect. Like in my opinion, at least with my experience on watching the movie multiple times, I would say it's slightly overhyped on a Star Wars movie basis, not on a cinema movie, like on a masterpiece of a movie. Like if you're judging it as a masterpiece, like I was just judging it on my personal enjoyment on the film. You already know what my top 2 are. Maybe not know the order, but second is Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi is so good.
Like, so underrated, I think.
It is, but the only thing is like its risks are kind of bad. It doesn't attempt anything different.
Okay, yeah.
Like everyone kind of just gets out of everything, except the last victory celebration is the greatest music John Williams has ever produced.
Yeah, I feel it.
It's so good.
Like, I don't know. I just when I watched it, I just found myself getting so much more enjoyment from it than I did Empire. And now knowing Rex is there makes it better.
Rex is most likely dead.
Oh yeah, but I mean, he's still there. But I don't know. I just couldn't put it. I couldn't put it top, but I couldn't put it below Empire based on how much enjoyment I got from it. And then obviously top is Revenge of the Sith, because I just love that movie.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith is definitely like the movie I enjoy the most, just purely because like I grew up watching Clone Wars, so you get to see like the biggest clone battles.
Yeah.
And then also I grew up playing Battlefront 2 from 2005. And so like playing through that campaign where you like play through the movie, it's just like, I remember doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I do agree. I don't know why. I just love that film so much. Like it's just brilliant.
And one thing, that movie has the least amount of Jar Jar of any of the prequels.
I love Jar Jar. It's seriously an overhated character in my opinion. Like
He's
good.
stupid in the prequels,
Mm,
but he's at least watchable in the Clone Wars.
yeah. Yeah. I I just think he's slightly overhated, to be honest.
But one thing that pisses me off about Jar Jar is he gets more bitches than me.
that arc in Clone Wars is wood. Like I saw this meme and it was like when you realise Jar Jar gets more girls than you. It's like, oh, God's sake,
Exactly.
oh. Why? Why did you have to remind me? What are your honest opinions on Jar Jar?
Oof. Uh, he he's there for comedic value. Do not like he adds almost nothing to the story. Like if Qui-Gon was just like at the end when they get through the palace, he's like, "Thanks, your services are no longer needed." That'd be like
Yeah.
great. Wouldn't even need to see him. Besides for when he gives emergency powers.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you say he doesn't do anything to the story, but there is one. I feel like they done that with his character just so people wouldn't have that as an excuse to hate him. I did. He's a very useless character, but also useful, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because people don't like him, so you can make him do stupid stuff like that. And it won't like people won't.
People expect it.
Yeah, people kind of expect it.
Mm. Although I do think the actor who voiced him got way too much hate.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
but he now has that like kid show.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a Jedi Temple challenge. It's like I haven't watched any of it, but it's like, have you ever watched Survivor?
Name rings a bell. Can't picture it.
Well, they're all on like an island or whatever, and they all have to do like these like things, challenges or whatever, and then it's like you get voted off or something like that. I think that's what it's like, but with like little kids, so it's not as like intense or anything. But he's like a Jedi Master in that.
Yeah.
And his character's actually canon.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And he also plays a club attendant in Attack of the Clones.
Oh yeah, I think he does. Yeah, I think I remember reading about that, which is quite cool. But yeah, that's my stars ranking. I know you disagreed with a few. I've moved my camera. But anyway, we've spoken about quite a lot. To be fair, I think we've been speaking for an hour already. To be fair, but honestly, because I know obviously it's a bit difficult with timings, American, and everything. So I'm gonna have to end this shortly, based on timing. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm very tired. So
I woke up like 2 hours ago.
Jesus, well, I woke up like a long time ago, 12 hours ago. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want, let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see us come back. And to be honest, I'd love to have you back on the podcast.
Yeah, it'd be great to be back. It was great talking to you.
Yeah. I probably waffled a lot, but honestly, I'd love to have you on again. Maybe with Mandalorian Season 3 or when the Star Wars show starts to come out.
Yeah, because Bad Batch comes out later this year.
Yeah, so we'll definitely arrange something for then. But yeah, thank you for coming on. It's been a great time. I really enjoyed it, if I'm honest. Do you want to give a shout out to your TikTok?
Yeah, I got to plug my TikTok. Follow me at Willrow Hood. I'm rebooting my Clone Wars review. We're going to do it in chronological order this time because I've been meaning to rewatch it in chronological order. So that'll be coming out in the next coming weeks. There'll probably be 2 to 3 episodes a day. It's at willrow.hood. He's the guy.
I'll put a link in the description. Yeah. But yeah, go follow him. You probably come from my TikTok. He'll be his account. I'll tag his account in the video if you've come from that video in TikTok. Go give him a follow. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Peace, guys.